Imagine with me that you just built your dream home in a master plan community, and the brochure had promised you beautiful parks, resort-style pools, family-friendly events. The neighborhood itself seems perfect. But fast forward a year later, and those promises are not as rosy as they once were. In this video, I'm going to uncover the hidden risk and red flags that are often associated with the master plan communities here in the Houston area. I'm going to give you a list of questions you need to ask yourself before you build a new construction home in one of these master plan communities. Question number one to ask yourself is, do they allow investors? I am all for investing in real estate, of course, but if you are buying into a brand new master plan community that has 15 plus builders and all 15 of those builders are selling more than half their inventory to investors, that can be a little bit of a problem. I mean, this is going to make this brand new neighborhood have a really high turnover rate. The competition is going to be really fierce for you to resell your home. And because of the influx of investors and renters, people tend not to be as invested in the community as a whole when they do not own it or live there themselves. Not only that, it's been proven that if there is a ton of investors and rental properties within a community, it can affect the appreciation a little bit. There are some master plan communities here in Houston that do not allow investors, or they limit the investors. It's really almost impossible for them to completely eliminate investors because there's always a way around things. But generally, when you are buying into a master plan community, the builder is not supposed to sell to you unless you're going to live in that home as your primary residence for at least 1 year. So that's one way that master plan communities try to limit the amount of investors, because it's also in the developer's best interest not to have a ton of investors initially. Question number two is, do they have a good mix of builders? If you are buying into a master plan community with thousands upon thousands of homes and builders, you really want a good mix of builders. Think about it. If you buy from a top tier builder in a master plan community and you spend $600,000 on your house, but every other builder in that community is only selling homes for $400,000, that's definitely going to affect your appreciation in the future. And same if you buy into a community that only has a ton of entry-level builders. It's great now, but when you go to resell, again, those attract a lot of investors and cash buyers, so the appreciation is not going to appreciate as well as if you were in a community that had a really good mix of builders from entry level all the way up to luxury. Handful in each tier is really ideal when you're looking at master plan communities. Number three is, do they have a portfolio of previously successful communities within the city that you are building? The good news is that here in Houston, we have a lot of developers that have really good track records and successful master plan communities, and they have built a ton over the years. The bad news is that in recent years, we've also had a lot of developers enter into our market that were not previously here, or developers that have no previous experience on master plan communities. Now, I'm not saying just because they're new, they're a bad developer or master plan community, but I am encouraging you to think that if you have a choice between a developer who has done a lot of master plan communities here in Houston and has a successful track record compared to another that has little to no experience within this market, of course, the one with a better track record is going to be a more secure investment for you. That's not to say that it is completely secure, because master plan communities can change at any moment. The developer could sell the land, they could sell to a new developer. Nothing with a master plan community is set in stone until it is built and completed. So essentially, when you're buying into a master plan community, you are taking a leap of faith into the developer's plans. So really, again, going with one that's a little more secure and established is less of a risk for you. Number fourth is their growth sustainability. This is a lot like Goldilocks' story. You really want something that's in the middle. You don't want to be in a master plan community that is growing too fast, because then it's really hard for the developer to sustain that growth and keep up with the infrastructure, the amenities, and the home appreciation for the area. On the other hand, you also don't want to go with a master plan community that is stagnant in growth and taking a really long time to grow and just have been there forever and not really made much progress, because that's also a really big red flag. You really want a community that has a slow and steady growth outlook, that they are releasing sections at a time and really controlling how fast the development grows so that they can control the community and the appreciation as well. Number 5 is what about their zoning and land use within and around the community? Again, I've seen a lot of this recently where master plan communities are buying massive amounts of land, but there's a lot of pockets within that master plan community that they don't own and they have no control or idea of what's going to happen with that land. That could be a risk to you as a future homeowner. Also, if they are familiar with what's going on around the community, but they're not disclosing that, that could also be a problem, because what if a high-speed train is planned to go in or around that master plan community, or that lot of land right next door is sold 1.3 million square feet for industrial retail. These are true examples of things that are happening around some of the master plan communities that are currently selling. So again, you really want to familiarize yourself with not only the developer, but everything going on around it so that you can make a really good investment. Again, of course, you cannot entirely control everything and you cannot predict the future or what's going to happen to land. Generally, if you're going with a massive master plan community, you're a little bit more protected because they're going to grow so much around you that whatever comes in next door is probably not going to affect you. But still, this is something that you really want to familiarize yourself with before you start building a new construction home. Number 6 is the environmental concerns. If you are getting to know the Houston market, then you've probably heard that flooding is quite a bit of a risk here in Houston. Generally, in our master plan communities, they are not in floodplains. Usually, they'll engineer their way out of that before they begin building, so that's not too much of a risk. However, they cannot control what's going on around the master plan community. So if other communities or things are being built around that community, it can definitely affect how your home is going or not going to flood. Some other environmental considerations you should consider when looking at master plan communities is obviously also the soil and how that'll affect your foundation, but also their sustainability practices long term. Are they using water conservation practices? Do they have protection for the wildlife within the area? Are they using natural resources for the green spaces and parks? All of these things are super important, especially in a major city like Houston. Number 7 is the roads and connectivity issues. Obviously, when these master plan communities tend to start, they start way out in undeveloped areas, and it does take a long time for the area to develop, as well as the roads in and out of that area. There is often a question of not only if, but when the developer plans to expand or open roads within the community. It's not uncommon for sales agents of these developments to oversell the promise of the expansions and the roads, and unfortunately a lot of these expansions do not happen until the area is almost completed. So when you're getting ready to build in a master plan community, if the traffic is already bad, imagine how much worse it's going to get as more and more people are moving into the area. So if you can, and if it's possible, try to find master plan communities that are already starting the road expansions or already have solid plans into play. And lastly, number 8 is what are the school districts for the master plan community? Here in Texas, school districts are a major factor in determining not only the demand of an area, but also the pricing and housing of the area. There is rezoning that is happening all the time. Typically, school districts themselves rarely rezone, but the schools within school districts rezone quite a bit. Typically, what happens is master plan communities will begin building in highly regarded, strongly rated school districts, and then once that area is built out, they'll slowly start spilling into another school district that might not be as highly rated or as established as the first school district. The problem though is that a lot of master plan communities will continue promoting that highly rated school district and not mentioning too much about the secondary school district, which can be a problem. So please, when you're looking at master plan communities, make sure you do your due diligence and research and check the school district zoning boundaries. If you found this video helpful, please check out my playlist. I have an entire playlist on master plan communities here in Houston. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.